a bit of from my mother and my father. So that's why I play percussion and rhythm also, because I learned tablas from my father and melody and everything from my mother. So so that's how the journey started in music.
Is it like because you moved to Ahmedabad, you started to learn music, or music is in Bangladesh? I mean, I think it's in Bengals. Like it's probably everybody is in Bengals.
Yeah.
I think it's in their heart and soul.
Yeah.
You know, the music is. I mean, no matter, you as a Bengali moved to Ahmedabad, and you started to learn music because, or it was, as you said, it was actually crippling up or boiling, inside you. I guess.
They are into business, a lot of business, but there were some Bengalis in Ahmedabad too when we arrived. So they used to have little Durga Puja and so on, and my parents used to do functions, so that music continued.
You had a connection or something with Ghulam Ali and Abida Parveen. How that was like with those legends?
Incredible experience being there on stage with them. And I also traveled with them, stayed in the room with them, and you see how these legends are.
Yeah.
Their mental structure, you learn a lot. Other outside music too, you learn a lot. They don't practice music, they think music.
About Avijit Das, and his family in Australia, because he lives in Australia, and I guess it's important for us.
Essentially, I play the harmonium, which I learned from my mother, and then from a few ustads. They taught me some more complex stuff. But I also play the keyboards. I do a lot of work on synthesizers, and I play the piano accordion. I play an instrument called the melodica. That's all the melody side, and then I do a lot of rhythm. So I play tabla, I play dholak, I play a lot of Latin American percussion. I was in charge of the technical team looking after the general ledger of Commonwealth Bank across Australia.
Right. This is so relevant in our community, in our society, that there will be some folks, who would like to go and would like to become the center of attention.
And sometimes you ask yourself, why do you do that? What end of your life, what are you going to get?
One thing is that how you take this social media thing. Like it was when we grew up, we never had social media and all. How you feel that what is the social media?
To understand that I'm a techie.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about social media is somewhat related to technology, right? Sarkar is, right? So I guess this is what we are trying to bring to the community. We just want to, have a very informal conversation with the person who will be our guest.
Good evening, Sydney. This is our first episode. Our first episode of our podcast, Voice of Bengal's Wahid and Basab show. And our first guest, I'll not tell anything about him. We will just, as the conversation flows, so we'll know more about the guest. So here, welcome Avijit Sarkar, our Avijit Da. Avijit, what we'll do is that we will keep it a bit informal. We will discuss and see how it goes. I also have with me Wahid also. Wahid is also here, and so we both of us will have a adda with Avijit. Adda is a typical Indian word, and we'll have that like conversation with Avijit. So Wahid, let's start. So Avijit, what we'll do is let's start with your childhood and from where are you from India and all those things. So if you can shed some light to us. I know many people know Avijit Da, everyone knows in Sydney, but many people don't know your background and many things. I
was born in Kolkata, in the suburb of Bowbajar. As we were discussing, yes.
Yeah.
And so I grew up there. I was born I remember I lived in a joint family at the age of possibly 2 or 3 years old, my father got transferred. We moved to Ahmedabad. That's where I grew up, really, educated. But I still have memories of Kolkata.
Okay.
Vivid memories of the family my parents were musicians, so I remember getting up in the morning and listening to them singing and so on.
Like everybody in Calcutta, they
everybody
use a
singing.
harmonium and all those things in the early morning. Yeah.
It is truly amazing that
Yeah.
you walk down the street and you listen to music coming from both sides. That's unique. So yes, that's where I was born, moved to Ahmedabad, and in Ahmedabad I grew up, got educated. And that's where I was. So I used to go back to Kolkata ever so often for the summer vacations and so on to meet family. But Ahmedabad was my hometown. Yeah.
And your parents also, like, they used to perform in
Yes,
the concerts and
yes.
all, yeah?
My mother was a classical singer, and my father was a percussionist. He used to play the tablas, khol, the Bengali khol,
Okay,
and so on. So
okay.
they were performing artists and actors too. So they were very, very heavy into theatre too, both of them.
Okay. And
So, look, it makes me a bit curious about you said that you lived in a joint family. So how was it like living in a joint family?
It was in those days, and I'm talking about in the 50s, which sort of tells you sort of the age group where I am.
Yeah, we can sort of feel that.
Yeah. At that time, the joint family was a strict family. I can tell you, extremely strict. So my mother, who was the youngest beau of the house,
Right.
she had to cook for 25 people every day. So that's the kind of, and it was very hard.
like Borobo and Chotobo. Like I also come from a joint family. Yeah. Like my mom is a Borobo.
Yes. So yeah, it was hard. It was not easy really for all of us.
Yeah. So, see, you were born in Calcutta, and then you moved to Delhi.
Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad. So Ahmedabad is not Delhi.
No, it's Gujarat.
That's Gujarat.
That's
right?
Western
That's
India.
Western
Western
part.
Australia.
Okay.
So you were raised in Ahmedabad.
Yes.
Okay. Do you speak
So
Gujarati?
yeah, so Gujarati
Kem
is
cho?
sort of Kem cho saru છે.
Majama.
So it's sort of become a sort of a first language for me because that's how you grow up. Your friends. I'm married to a Parsi, and their language.
She's also from Gujarat.
We both grew up there. So Gujarati is our predominant language.
Language,
in the house, yes.
Yeah, but Wahid's where he used to work in Dubai. I think they were the typical Gujarati company, isn't it?
Yeah, my boss, the company that I was working for, is Bohri. They're owned by Bohri. They're probably one of the richest Bohri family in Dubai. They were living in Dubai. So they used to have not used to, they still have a business, crystal. So they don't manufacture crystal. They used to put themselves as a crystal manufacturing company, but they were not actually manufacturing crystal, but they were actually sort of creating artifacts from crystal. So I was the IT manager. I was the only, and I guess one of the first Bangladeshi joined in that company, and then a lot of Bangladeshi started to flow after that, because I was the IT manager managing 15 odd people. Most of them were Indians and others, but I was the IT manager. So look, I mean, I would say they're fantastic, especially the kebab. The Gujarati kebab, the jali kebab that make, oof, that's yum. So I do have some connection.
Avijit, we'll start with your music thing, right?
Yeah,
so if you can say something like how was your musical journey started? Like at what age, how you have done your thing, like how you came to music, like.
I started with my parents, of course, music. My mom, by the time I was, I think, 5 odd years old, I started learning a bit of from my mother and my father. So that's why I play percussion and rhythm also, because I learned tablas from my father and melody and everything from my mother. So so that's how the journey started in music. But more than that, I believe that I had this the drive in music. So even if I sometimes think that if I had not learned music, I would have still done music, I think, because this was something that was boiling in my heart since I was born, I think. But yeah, they are the ones who originally guided me into music. And I'm very lucky because I learned melody and rhythm from my mother and father. So I was very, very lucky to have that at home. Later, of course, I got into with other teachers and ustads and pandits and so on. learned
I mean,
music.
look, Avijit, I mean, is it like because you moved to Ahmedabad, you started to learn music, or music is in Bangladesh? I mean, I think it's in Bengals. Like, it's probably everybody is in Bengals.
Yeah.
I think it's in their heart and soul.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
music. I mean, no matter you as a Bengali moved to Ahmedabad, and you started to learn music because, or it was, as you said, it was actually crippling up or boiling, inside you. I guess I have to credit the Bangla heritage, for that, because I guess what Bangla has produced, like West Bengal has produced, all the big musicians and all of that, until today, that's unreal. And it's a phenomenon. That's unreally, that's definitely a phenomenon. I guess from that perspective and standpoint, I guess it was sort of flowing in your blood.
It's a culture. It's just part of growing up.
It is.
Music
I guess,
is part of growing
as
up.
you said that when you were born, and in Kilkara, street of Kilkara, I think everybody was kind of playing and having
all the
rhythm and
time.
all of that. Is that something you saw in Ahmedabad as well?
Ahmedabad, not so much now. You see, the Gujarati community is a business community. So they are into business, a lot of business. But there were some Bengalis in Ahmedabad too when we arrived. So they used to have little Durga Puja and so on. And we used to do, my parents used to do functions. So that music continued. Yeah.
So, but because all Bengalis do that, when they sing, they learn Rabindra Sangeet. You learned Rabindra Sangeet?
I actually did not learn Rabindra Sangeet. I did sing on a few occasions, but no. My mother was more interested in teaching me the basic, which is classical music, and so on. So yeah, not so much of Rabindra Sangeet, no.
On your thing, we had a bit of a research of yours. So you had a connection or something with Ghulam Ali and Abida Parveen. How that was like with those legends?
Yes, that was because when they came for their first tour of Australia, they needed an extra musician to play harmonium or keyboards for them. And there was somebody who knew me, and he said, would you like to go and play with them? So that was scary, I'll tell you. Because they take your audition before the
big musicians, right?
With Ustad Ghulam Ali and all that, they sit down and listen to what you're playing. They call you, so it is a bit shaky, the whole thing. But yeah, I go through, and they were quite happy, and that was amazing, absolutely incredible experience being there on stage with them. And I also traveled with them, stayed in the room with them, and you see how these legends are. Their mental structure, you learn a lot. Other outside music too, you learn a lot. They don't practice music; they think music.
No, I'm a bit more curious about about Avijit Das, and his family in Australia, because he lives in Australia, and I guess it's important for us to know. I mean, look. Up until now, I did not know. I probably have seen you. Your face looks very common to me. We must have attended so many programs, that West Bengals, must be hosting. But I never, had the opportunity to speak to you. So and that's why I'm very, curious to find out, a bit more about you. How about we just look at your beautiful family? If you look at the screen, and we just want to find out a bit more about your beautiful family. That photographs that looks like you do have some grandkids.
Yes, I do. So my wife Palu, she is a GP. She has her practice here in Sydney.
And which one is her? Well, I can't really. Is she there?
On the left. So
on the far left.
Looking at on the far left.
On the far left. Yeah,
that's
okay.
my wife. She is a general practitioner here in Sydney. And then we have one daughter.
Yeah.
That's Anaita, after her in the white T-shirt.
Yeah, okay.
And she is the founder and the CEO of a very large company now called Hero Packaging, which is one of the largest packaging companies in Australia.
Right.
So she started that company, and then
she started the company.
She's the founder of the company.
Okay.
Founder. And then three of our granddaughters. First one is Chloe, and then Grace, and Olivia, the eldest one.
And they are from? Oh, you just got one daughter.
One daughter.
Oh, that's your son-in-law then.
On the right hand side is my son-in-law.
Oh, that's
Vikram.
your son-in-law.
That's
Okay.
my son-in-law Vikram.
He
Yep.
looks more like you. I was thinking it's probably his son.
Yeah. No, he's my son-in-law, right on the right side there. Yeah,
Right.
that's Vikram. Yes. So he also works. He's also co-partner in the same company.
Same company.
Hero
yeah,
Packaging.
yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense actually. Yeah, because same company.
Of
yeah,
course,
Of
yes,
course. You
yes,
have
yes.
a big business.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the background looks beautiful. Where did you take this
This
photo?
is outside the Hornsby Shopping Center.
Right.
On the.
I mean, it looked like a bit familiar to me,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know where exactly.
Yeah.
It rings my bell. Okay, that looks beautiful. Amazing. Now, so, you've got a really beautiful family. I mean, no doubt about that. And so what exactly you're pursuing now? So what exactly do you... I know that you do a lot of shows. You have got a lot of
That
other...
is more of a passion, isn't it?
Yeah. So, of course, we are going to reveal some of the more stuff that you do, which you have collected from your Facebook profile. But in terms of music, so if I may say a bit more, if I want to know a bit more about your music, strength and career. So what do you do? What sort of instrument do you play? I do have a little bit of background in music. I used to play tabla. I used to play guitar. I think I forgot guitar completely. So I don't know how to play guitar at all. But I can still play tabla. I'll still be able to play tabla. So I do have, as you said, I'm from Bangladesh, right? So I guess it flows in our blood, the music.
Yeah.
I think the Bengalis are born to be musicians.
Both Bengals.
I guess so. Yeah.
A lot of,
So what sort of instrument do you play? If you
I play a
may say?
few instruments. I learned a few instruments. So I play the harmonium, which I learned from my mother, and then from a few ustads, they taught me some more complex stuff. But I also play the keyboards. I do a lot of work on synthesizers, and I play the piano accordion. I play an instrument called the melodica. That's all the melody side, and then I do a lot of rhythms. So I play tabla, I play dholak, I play a lot of Latin American percussion. A lot of that I play. So yeah, a few instruments.
wow.
How you manage, Avijit? How you it's like Shivamani of Sydney, isn't it?
Well, it is. This is in 1975. I got onto the stage. That's the first time I got onto the 75. So next year will be my 50th year on stage.
Okay.
So from there on, I started as a singer, but then I always had this interest in playing instruments with my father, and I just wanted to, and so I learned along the way.
Just curious, how old were you back then?
75. I was 57 born, so I must be around 20. I remember I was in college.
Yeah, you are 57. I'm 64. So yeah, you are 7 years older than me. So you are
So I was first year college.
First year college.
First year BSc. Yes. So yeah, I had this interest in learning musical instruments. So I used to latch on to good musicians and learn. I used to really latch onto them and learn from them all the time, and then practice at home.
But of course, it was passion that you were pursuing, right?
Of course.
Has it become a profession at all, or?
Well, it used to be a profession back in India. So the story goes like this: that by the time I was in the 1975, I was going through, my entire family, my parents, my sister, going through very hard times, and my father had lost everything, all his savings. So at that time, music, the money from my music kept the family alive.
Oh, okay.
So my music is to get the bread on the table every day.
Wow.
So that's how it was. So
you were at that time hardcore profession?
Yeah. I used to be paid 75, 76. I started getting paid in music.
But look at the story, Basab, that is unfolding. You see that?
Yeah.
The core, the essence of Boys of Bengals, to bring this story, right? What Avijit just said, that he was bringing food to the table through the music, right? So that's kind of an unknown story probably for many people in Sydney.
That's
probably
right.
they would have no clue.
No clue.
I guess that's the essence of having this Voice of Bengals, that where you can just open up and say. I guess it's important for every single person, kind of share what actually goes behind to become you, which is Avijit Sarkar now, right?
Yeah.
I guess this is very important that I think everyone has a story to say. So that makes me to say,
Yes.
I mean, how did you come to Australia then? And when did you come here?
I came in 1990, but I came here as a software consultant, as a software writer.
So beside music, you are doing the IT.
Oh, yes. So in 75, I did my master's in mathematics. So I passed out in 79 with pure mathematics. And then I wanted to do my PhD in mathematics. So I wanted to move to the area of Einstein's theory and all that and I started doing some work in time-space management of Einstein's theory. But then I ran out of money. I didn't have money at all. So somebody advised me, look, software was just coming up then.
Yeah.
And somebody said, look, you better learn this because this will give you a good career. So I just moved. To software, learned programming, and got into software.
But it is interesting that, so this is not a myth that an IT professional could be a hardcore musician.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I guess this is not a myth then, right?
So you can still give it a go.
I play some sort of music. I mean, 27 years I'm in IT. Of course, I'm a lot more younger than you. I mean, when you got to the stage, I was kind of born, right? So now you know my age. So, but then I spent all my life, in technology, kind of, and I built sort of a small to mid-sized business in Australia. You can say technopreneur, from that aspect. And then my love for music is, I can't even comprehend. Sometimes I feel like, the music, as you said, that it flows in your heart and blood and everything. It does that with me. But I was probably not lucky enough or fortunate enough to become a full-fledged musician or pursue that. I got into, in a very early stage, I got into IT and tech stuff. When you were doing probably programming, of course, that was way back. But when I started my career, also I started to learn, C, Turbo C, that sort of building my small little game, that back then. So, and that got me into, kind of surrounded me, and I kind of started to step away from, music. But then I could not step away from, listening to good music. Understanding. Yeah. Like I was in Opera House to see Ustad Jakir, Jakir Khan, with some two other. I think percussionists, or they play
Santur or that. I think Pandit.
No, they're not Pandit. They're
Kumar
girls.
Sharma?
They're girls.
Okay.
Yeah, they're girls. They're two girls, and that was like, bringing subcontinental, music,
Of course.
to that level in Opera House,
Of course.
performing live to audience. Most of are white folks, right?
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's not.
So, Avijit, so whenever you were doing those professional concert in India, that were in Ahmedabad or in Bombay also?
No, Ahmedabad, Bombay used to travel to Rajasthan.
Oh, used to travel
a lot. So a lot. So I did a lot of concerts, and I had to do it.
So you used to sing for what? Kishore Kumar songs?
No, I used to sing very old songs.
Old songs.
I used to sing Manna De Hemant Kumar.
Manna De Hemant.
So that type, that era. And yes, so sometimes, I had to do it. Let me put it this way. So I was forced to do it. And there's a lot of competition in music in India. So you have to be really practice and stay ahead if you want to really make money there.
Yeah.
So because I knew if I didn't have the shows, I didn't have bread on the table. That's a simple equation for me.
And you had connection with Bollywood that time, or
not really? But I used to go to Bombay to the music studios to learn music from the musicians who used to play with R.D. Burman and all those people. So I used to go there and sit down in the studios. As at that time, 50-60 musicians used to play for each song.
All were live recording, right? Because I am from HMV, so I know.
That's amazing. And I used to sit down there because I knew somebody, a musician there, and used to make me sit down, and sometimes I used to just wait for a break. Then I would go up to musicians and ask them to teach me something. That's how I used to learn from them. So it was very interesting. But I picked up a lot. I gained a lot from them. A lot.
So you said about Manna Dey. So Manna Dey started his music when he was 40, at the age of 40, if I'm not wrong.
I'm not sure of that. Really,
Yeah, Manna Dey actually became
famous and popular. But
I mean, he became popular probably 40. He started his career. That's what I'm saying. That I think at the age of 40, the history, if I might be wrong, but this is something that I knew, that at the age of 40, somebody goes and pursue music as a career and become so famous, like everywhere, like both Bengals and all over India, that sort of thing, that scale.
And I did a workshop with Manna Dey in Sydney, in the University of New South Wales. It was going back in the early 90s, I think 93, 94. And it was just a workshop, so just talking to him about his life and different songs that he has sung. So it was extraordinary, I thought.
How was the experience?
It's just amazing. And he warned me that I'll talk, I won't sing. Before, because he was a bit hot-headed gentleman, you see.
Yeah.
So I said, no, I'm not going to sing at all. I'll ask you questions, you can answer them. Then in the middle of the workshop, he said, harmonium ache? So I said, yeah, in the car. So I said, get the harmonium. And then he put the harmonium and he kept on talking and kept on singing to give a demonstration. Yeah. It was extraordinary. Really, really amazing.
So what make you, like going back to the Wahid's previous question, how you landed up in Australia?
Well, I applied as a software engineer.
So you have taken a job and moved here, not as a PR or thing.
I didn't get a job, but I got my PR.
A PR, yeah.
Because at that time they were looking at software engineers and software writers.
Okay.
So in 1990 I got in. My wife couldn't get through because they don't accept doctors at that time.
Yeah, you have to go through all the things.
She came here and gave all the exams again.
It
was hard, but that's how I got in.
So that time your daughter born? Or no?
My daughter was born in India.
Born in India, okay.
By the time she was 3 years old when she came here. Yeah.
And that time when you moved, where you used to live? You live in
Parramatta.
You live in Parramatta, yeah. Like everyone, whoever comes from land up in Parramatta.
I think he starts in Parramatta. I mean, all the Indian comes, they start in Parramatta. Likewise, the Bangladeshis, they start in Rockdale. I guess that's where all the Bangladeshis start.
You're right.
And as they start, having a bit of a money, then they start moving towards, southwest. So this is interesting that, and you live in Drummoyne.
I live in Drummoyne.
So, how did you end up in Drummoyne? So now I have to say that. Is that, I mean, you don't have to say it, but that makes me a bit curious. We know that, the general practitioner, they makes a lot of money. So is that somewhat, that, and most of because I've got a friend, he's also kind of a doctor, right? He's a doctor, not kind of a doctor, and he lives in there. So, and all the doctors, they've got big house in Hills District. Most of our doctors in our community, the doctor fraternity, they got all the big house, bungalows, and everything. And so, and when did you move to Drummoyne? Because it's a posh area.
Drummoyne, we moved in 2010, so nearly 15 years now ago. We moved. We always wanted to move there because it's a suburb where you walk a lot. It's close to water, so that's one of the.
You see the Parramatta River.
There's a bay there, so we used to walk there a lot, and then we thought that we should move here. That was the driving force for us.
But it's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap. Nothing in Sydney is cheap.
It's not cheap.
And how you come up with Nataraj Academy or school?
I started that 17 years ago.
Okay.
17 years ago. I just thought that I should teach also because the driving force for me was that I learned music in the very hard way. When you go to ustads and pandits and back in India and learn, they are hard. They are unpredictable. They are very difficult to handle, and you have to really fall at their feet just to learn a few things. So it's very, very hard. And they decided that look, I must, whatever little I know, I must impart, because knowledge grows only when you spread it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can learn. Even today, I learned something from you too, as I'm telling you. So it's knowledge is like that. So 17 years ago, I established Nataraj Academy. So it's running, still running.
Avijit, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the context. What is actually the Nataraj? Looks like it's a training institute or something like that, right?
Yep.
So
it's a music school.
It's
Yeah.
a music school, right? So I think that's important, that we find out more. So the music school that Nataraj, that you started, and you actually train the local kids and all of that, or
I teach
is
adults.
there any pre-qualification required or anybody?
I teach adults. I don't teach children. But no pre-qualification. So I've got one batch where they're just hobbyists. They just come to sing because they love music. They're not
Right.
singers. They don't want to become singers, top
Okay.
singers. So there's one batch, but there are other batches which is medium level. There are another batch which is quite advanced. They learn classical music with me. So I've got different levels. So yeah, I don't say that you need a background in music to come and learn how to sing. If you're a hobbyist, that's fine.
So what sort of chances do I have if I want to start tabla with you and do some practice and all of that? So what sort of prerequisite we have? You said there is no prerequisite. So how do I do that?
Well, I don't teach, or we don't teach tablas there in the academy.
Oh, there is no tabla.
There's only vocals. So you're teaching only
Vocals.
singing.
Okay, then forget about that. Then I don't.
No, you
qualify.
have Abhijit's very close, like a brother, Avijit Dan. He's also Avijit.
Yeah, you should go and.
Yeah, he
very
teaches tabla actually, and he stays here, like in
He's superb.
Bardia.
He's very good.
Very good. He's the one, I think. Yeah.
So the Avijit Dan that I know is related to him.
No, he's
No,
not
no,
related. No, not related.
But
But
we are, very close.
they do all many things together.
Yeah. All my concerts, he's always there.
Always there. He's every concert he's there in
I
Australia.
guess the Avijit Dan is there even in Bangladeshi concert.
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
Yes.
Also everywhere.
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah,
Most of
very,
it.
very,
Yes.
very
Okay.
versatile.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
I mean, look, I guess for me, it's. I would say it's more about, to refresh my skills.
Yes.
The skills that I had. It's not completely lost, to be honest. It's not like
That's
completely, forgotten, or
Of course.
I forgot everything. No. I guess if I still have tabla, I'll be able to play and make
Sure,
some music.
sure.
So and like the podcast we started, I guess there is no harm in starting a bit of a music as well. I guess
Yeah, why not? Well, I should,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
interested, you should always do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good for you. Music is a good healer for you.
Good healer. Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. When I used to play tabla, I used to feel much more lighter, to be honest.
Yeah.
Back
yeah,
then.
Just like that.
So yeah, possibly we'll give it a go. So so now
Avijit, sorry, if you want.
yeah. So now I mean, beside the music, so of course we're talking a lot more about music.
Yes.
You came here as a software engineer, or you studied and then become a software engineer. So are you still working?
No. I retired a long time ago because my wife's practice was getting very busy.
Busier.
She said, quit your job
Yeah, there
and
you go.
join me.
There you go. That's what I was saying. That's
so
what
now
the
I
drama
work
came.
as her practice manager at
Yeah.
a practice. She has got a practice in Parramatta, Rose Hill. So that's where I look after the practice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And when did you leave your career?
Oh, a while ago. 2000, maybe 2000 and can't remember, early 2000s.
Yeah, and when you left, of course, when both you was started to go wild with her career and progress, that's when you left.
Yeah.
But then when you left, what sort of career was it? Like full-fledged software?
Yeah, full business. So I was actually working for EDS. That's a consulting firm from the US.
Right.
And so I used to look after Commonwealth Bank, their whole. So I used to be in charge of. I was in charge of the technical team, looking after the general ledger of Commonwealth Bank across Australia.
Right.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was
Pretty stressful.
extremely stressful.
Stressful, yeah.
Very, very stressful. Yeah.
Because it's a general ledger not balanced.
Every day in the morning.
Every day.
And you're talking about missing millions. You're not talking about So it was stressful. But it was good.
But I guess now Commonwealth Bank is, of course, collaborating with all the big IT companies in India.
Yes.
I think,
Half TCS is here.
Yes. TCS, and all of that. So, so they're more into that. So, sorry, I cut you off, Basab. So, what was your question? So, you want...
Avijit also he writes plays and all those things, and that those plays are enacted in the stage and all. If you can say something about your thing, like how that interest grows.
My writing came. I've been writing for a while now, but then I used to write usually fiction, a lot of essays, philosophical essays, and poetry and stuff. So I've written a lot, but the plays came later on. I thought that I should start writing drama now, which I did. So now I wrote quite a few, and then 5 of them were staged in Sydney a couple of years ago. And then I'm writing another one.
Okay.
I'm working at, Utpal Dutt, of course, the actor.
Yeah.
So I'm working on one of his plays now.
Okay, which one is that? Oh, you'll not
Rate Rotithi.
Rate Rotithi, okay.
A brilliant play. So I'm working on that.
So the plays that you have written, those are being already...
Yes.
being in production in Sydney, you were saying, right? So, and who does that? I mean, do you work with, because I know a lot of drama, I know Rahul does that.
No, this is all in Hindi.
Mine was in English.
English.
The 5 plays
Oh,
were
yours
in
was in
English.
English.
But in English.
Okay, but people who acted are the English?
No. Indian.
There was a mix. There are a lot of Australians there, Australian actors too, but a lot of Indian actors.
A lot of Indian actors.
Yeah,
So a bit of a mix.
Yeah, there were also. I had 55 actors working in 5 plays.
Oh my God!
On one evening.
So when do you do that? Why? I mean, look, we need to know this, right? This is important. That look, Voice of Bengals. It's of course, it's voice of me and Basab, right? But of course, and then the voice of our guest. I guess it's very important for us to know that how can we see all your plays? Like, it's so important for us to, I mean, look, you do have Bangla bloods, you can't deny that, right? You do have that. So, and we all connect, there.
Sure.
That's our, I don't know. And if I would have known that you have a play that is going on and 50 people are acting in, I would have attended that. I would be very curious, because I do have a bit of a background from Bangladesh. I used to act, and I wanted to pursue that as well in Sydney somewhere. That I want to do an act, but of course I could not do that for family reasons and other things. Where kind of there was a restriction that I should not be doing that because I'm good at that. And if I do that, I think there might be girls flowing and all that. So there is,
your concentration was young family and all those things.
And also, you need to put up a lot of time, and effort.
It's very hard.
But let's not let's not slip away from there. I'm curious to know that if we are having next play of Avijit Sarkar, where can we go and see, and how can we update the community?
Sure.
Yeah, it's important. I run a platform called Crazy Tickets, right? And Crazy Tickets has got about 15K, and most of those are Bangla data, like either West Bengal or Bangladeshis, and majority would be people, majority people actually live in Sydney. So I guess we might be able to, promote to them and say
absolutely.
them. Yeah.
I mean, sure, when it comes up, you'll see it on social media, all the posters, and he'll come to know for sure.
Sure,
I'm sure he'll know.
So social media, is that your page? Do you have a page, or is it just your profile?
I just publish on my page and then send out emails to my database. So I've got a fairly large database, and I send out emails there. So
I think let's connect it to that, because I think it's important that we know, and then we can sort of put it on.
Yeah. try to promote like each other. Right?
I guess
Of
that's
course.
the essence, right? That's where we are coming. That
Yeah.
You should.
our very first guest, Avijit come. I mean, as the conversation is unfolding, we are learning so much about him and the caliber that he has. He started his journey in Australia as a software programmer or designer, whatever you call, and then of course now more focusing on wife's business. But the most importantly that he's not just a musician, he's also a playwright. I think there are more that will be unfolding.
Yeah.
What next? I mean, Basabda, even if you start, you just ignite, and then I can sort of take it up from there. What's next?
Avijit does, he does so many things. One thing I would like to say, you wrote books.
Yes, I've written two.
You've written books. If you can say something about
both are fictional. So one book that came out in Australia a few years ago, that was A Turn of Events is the name of the book, and I wrote it specifically to raise money. See, in Australia, all the proceeds from whatever I do in the creative field, everything goes to charity. So everything, so to the last cent goes to charity.
That's great, actually.
And that book itself raised a lot of money for cancer research, a lot of money. And the second book of mine was published in India. I wrote it, I co-authored the book with someone.
Okay.
That's a collection of the funny stories, the humorous stories. Okay, that was published in India. Yeah, still available.
So the book, you write book, and the language?
English.
What's
yes.
in English?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the money that you collect from the books goes to Cancer Council. Is that what you're saying?
I used to work,
Or
but now I work with Cure Cancer Foundation, Australia. It's a research
Cure
organization.
Cancer Foundation in Australia. That's very interesting. I do have a colleague in there, And does Avijit know that we also founded a charity? Probably he doesn't. He probably doesn't know. So I need to say that I started my career in Australia from charity, Oxfam, Australia. So I always had a knack, the work that they do, the humanitarian work is marvelous, I guess, and then all my life what I have done is actually the IT and technologies and all of that. So we came up with a one of its kind charity called Kick-Ass Senior. And this is interesting because you do have some sort of connection, or you feel like to be connected with charity. So it's important for you to know because you are going to that age bracket.
Yes.
You are going to that age bracket. So what Kick-Ass Senior does, Kick-Ass Senior actually helps the victim of cybercrime. The age bracket is 60 and 65 plus. The victim of cybercrime, cyber attack, we actually help them for free. Possibly they might have their computer issue. We fix them because bank often has a requirement that you need to go and fix your computer. We do that for free and all of that. Yes. But then also we are coming up with a lot of other ideas to keep our seniors, healthy as far as the cyber security, safety is concerned, and building a mobile apps as well, and working with so many research fellows. Coincidentally, some of them are, from subcontinent India,
Yes.
New South Wales student. They're the PhD guy. They're doing a lot of research and all of that in University of New South Wales, UTS, and all of that. So I guess you can sort of look at also, the Kick-Ass, our charity.
Sure.
Because if you look at that, it's so important that every sort of charities up there in Australia. Australia has got about, if I'm not wrong, 7,500 charities.
Yeah, would be.
All types of charities are there. There's none
For the seniors.
For seniors?
Yeah,
Who are the
first time
victims of
I've heard
cybercrime?
of it, yeah. I've never heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of its kind,
It's very good.
and this is the it's called PBI, Public Benevolent Institution. So we have been registered as in that category because we want to help our senior citizens to kind of because you don't see the trauma. I mean, if you look at the trauma, we have seen people lost 150K. We have seen people losing money from their accounts every single day, but nobody knows. Nobody knows. So I guess this is something that you might be interested to see.
Definitely. Yes.
Whether you support or not, but
Definitely.
I mean, that's probably
Awareness, actually.
Awareness of
because don't forget that you will be going in that age bracket as well.
Everyone
okay?
will go.
Everyone.
Not that.
Yeah.
Not that. So don't take it for granted that because you have been a techie
It doesn't.
in the past,
you
you cannot be scammed.
No, you can
So
easily. They can scam you easily nowadays with technology.
So-
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's very good to know that Avijit Da is not just in music, in the playwright. He's been an IT guy as well, like myself, and doing a lot of social work, through his plays and book, income from books and all of that. I guess this is. Yeah, I mean, I think
another thing I want to add
Okay,
now
sure,
is
go ahead.
every week or like twice a week he comes up with some current affairs cartoons which he does. It's unbelievable, like such a creative thing. How you come up with that, Avijit?
Well, I've,
is that something you're talking about?
Yes.
that's it. I think yes. You see, to be a cartoonist, you need to listen, not hear, if you know what I mean. And you need to observe, not just see. All right, so if you keep your ears and eyes open, there's a lot of subject matter around you. Of course, and then I had written about this, that you also need this, you need, of course, your drawing skills, but you also need a bit of courage to say what you have to say. If you don't have the courage, you can't be a cartoonist. Okay, you can be a painter if you want, but to do this kind of stuff, you need to observe and put it in a more humorous form, I guess. So like this one, which is on the screen at the moment.
I would like to read it out, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I object. There are no members of Parliament present today. Of course, we have exclamatory sign, more than one. So, my apologies. They are all attending Indian Diwali functions. so what's the...
You have to read between the lines, actually.
Yes, of course. That's what cartooning is all about.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But from your cartoonist perspective, if you could explain what exactly you're trying to say
I mean,
here.
wherever you go, it's a two-sided thing. I've observed that politicians, they want to be with these subcontinent communities, obviously for votes and so on. It's very obvious. And the subcontinent people, they feel very privileged if there are ministers around. So it's a two-sided thing.
Yes, yeah.
And I was thinking that if there are so many functions going on, and each function has got 4 to 5 ministers attending, I'm sure the parliament is empty. That's what I thought.
Oh my God, this is, I guess, I have to say something. I'll take the privilege to say something about it. I think what you said, it's so valid that you use the word privileged. So I think it's kind of now slowing down, but if I go back 20, 15 years, or possibly even 5 years ago, I guess every single Bangladeshi event, every single Indian event, we do have a white fox. He's the member of parliament or a councillor or somebody. He's coming up with most of the time, with
the Indian dress or whatever tradition.
I mean, I guess, and then attending the function, and surrounded by possibly 100 other folks, from the community, trying to take photographs, and it's. So I'll be asking, or I'll be saying a very I might sound very controversial, or I might sound really funny. Is that something came from the era of British when they colonized the subcontinent?
No, it's a good question.
Hujur.
Yeah.
So I guess
It's a good
is this
question.
something? What do you think?
I think traditionally, I don't know, maybe it has come from that time, but I think we do have the tendency to look up at white people for many reasons. It's a socio-economic thing, I think, but we do tend to look up, and to have your photographs taken by a white, especially a person of prominence, is a great thing. You first hang up that on your walls than with your family photographs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is a mentality. It's slowly going away. I think he's right. It's slowly reducing. You can see that happening. It's reducing a lot now. But yeah, that mentality is there, good or bad.
This is. I guess if I extend this conversation a bit more, I guess this is a conversation that we all should hear. The whole reason we are conducting this podcast in English, and we'd like to keep it that way, no matter whether our English is good or bad, or might be multilingual, right? Doesn't matter. English, A, it's not our language, right? B, we're all immigrants. And C, I don't really care whether I sound like an Aussie, or I sound like a pure Bangladeshi, or sound like, folks from West Bengal. It doesn't really matter. I'm able to speak a language that is not mine. I think that's what I should be proud of, right?
Absolutely.
I guess from that perspective, getting the joke, making a cartoonish is not an easy thing. We have Anisur Rahman in Bangladesh.
Yes.
He's like a top cartoonist in Bangladesh. He probably had
Lakshman in India.
No, put it this way. He probably had the most tough Shafiq Rahman. He was thrown out from the country. The government he's completely pull him up and then throw him out of the country just because he used to portray everything through the cartoon. He used to make fun through the cartoon, not about government, everyone. Do you think you had, because you have freedom of speech in this country, of course you can do or draw something like that and make fun of people and all of that. That's something. It's our privilege, that we live in Western society, and freedom of speech exists here. I think this is very important, that what Avijit Da is trying to portray is nothing but freedom of speech as well, in a humorous way, also trying to
give a message.
Send a message to the community. Hey, stop! Enough. Okay. Try to replace that white folks. Don't feel offended. You do have a lot more caliber than. You are not. Don't undermine yourself. Put it this way.
Of course.
The privilege they have is they came here. They invaded this country. 100 or 150 odd years ago, right? That's the privilege they have. It doesn't mean we are any less. And then we have to go and do that. No, look, I'm gonna go. We want to continue this. I'm going to go and see another cartoon.
Okay.
And I want to read that out again to our audience. There's a lot of Black Friday shopping. The Black Friday just finished, right?
Yes.
So it's probably relevant, and it's relevant to me as well. I did a lot of shopping. Of course, I did a lot of tech stuff. I lot of tech stuff as well. Just a pair of jeans and 2 T-shirts, dear. My God. Oh, okay. Look, I kind of get what you're trying to say, but I would like to know, from you. What are you trying to say?
There is a twofold message here. One is, of course, that sometimes men folk tend to buy a lot of things, and the lady of the house, usually you get caught out, right? You buy. That's one thing that he's trying to make an excuse there. The other thing is that look at his size. And that's the second thing is that just a pair of jeans and 2 t-shirts will fill up that big bag.
So it's just
that's the size of him, So he might be telling the truth. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is very, very, I would say
very relevant to the thing.
Very relevant to the thing, I guess. I mean, how does all of this pop up in your mind? Look, you used to be a techie.
Musician.
You are a musician. You do a lot of playwriting. Of course, now you're into business as well. I mean, you do probably a lot of cash handling and all of that. At least, accounts and all of that. So that's and then coming up with this kind of cartoon, which is so relevant to the community.
Because in the beginning he said, no, Jay, it's a listen, not hear.
Yes.
So, and you observe people around you. So.
You observe people around
I would like to say it's a very interesting thing here that some people may not know. Is my mother used to say that I started drawing before I could talk.
Wow.
Okay.
She always used to say that to her friends. That we are very poor. And I didn't have paper or pencil, so they used to have cement floors in Calcutta, in the very old houses.
Yes,
so I used to take a piece of chalk and draw there the whole day when I was little. So my mother used to say that he draws more than he talks. So the drawing thing is, I think, I never learned drawing, and it just is. I think it's never really learned drawing. But so it's been a long time that I've been drawing, and it's probably closest to my heart among all the arts that I do is drawing. I do traditional drawing too, like oil paintings and acrylics and a lot of that stuff. But cartooning I've been doing for a while now.
This is the main thing that Sydney may not know. Like closest to the heart of all the creativity, what he does is drawing.
It's drawing. It's still very close. Still very close. Even at home, when I'm just sitting there, I keep on scribbling. All the time. So there's something that...
No, these sketches are so good. It's all professionally, so professional.
Look, I mean, this is another one. And this is, again, so relevant. This is so relevant. And I guess this is very important. I mean, what you do, of course, you probably be putting this up in your social media post and all of that.
Yes.
But I guess... what I'm actually getting out of this is, the message that you are giving it to the society. If they really ever get this, hopefully they get it through this podcast that we are having, that the message that you're trying to pursue here. I guess I'm going to read this out again. The Great Indian Fair. Okay, there are some... The small letter writing that I'm not able to read, but for many Indian, I guess, looks like the couple in the center are the chief guest. Who are the others? So, so look, this is so interesting, I definitely, I'd like to know. What do you have to say? It's so important a message. Then I do have my 2 cents that I want to put up after that.
This if you go to any of the functions, not only Indian but any of the subcontinental functions, and you see that there's this fascination of people of getting onto the stage in huge numbers.
Yes.
So you don't realize who's the star, who's not.
No.
Who's the chief guest. So that's why I said that, that came to my mind. It's a bit of a wordplay. So if the people in the middle are chief guests, then the others are cheap guests.
Yeah.
You see, it's a wordplay that came to my mind. And this has come really from what I see. And everywhere you go, people.
No, you are 100%. Like in our previous one of our other episode, we were talking like same thing. Like so, everyone wants to come to the stage. Yeah.
Yep, everyone.
I guess look now. I would definitely like to, add to this as well. It is somewhere relevant, and also it's individual, right? There are folks, but the percentage would be very less. That where they just don't want to be, or even if they're taking part of it, I think they want to keep it very concise and very brief. But there are other folks, as you said, and who would like to be always at the forefront and show their face and all of that. And this is interesting that because the gentleman is in suit and tie and the other one is in Western attire, right? And the other folks are very much in Indian sort of attire. So they're chief guests. And of course, because they are looking more Western, and they are actually, although they might be from the same community,
it's possible.
but they are looking like chief guest,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So again, what Basabda is saying is, this is so relevant in our community, in our society, that there will be some folks, who would like to go and would like to become the center of attention.
It's
Right?
fascinating. It's some kind of, I can't understand really, but it is true. Yes.
Yeah. Whereas it's not, as I said, it's purely individual, but I think those individuals are more in the society.
Yeah.
Yeah, number of individuals are more.
Yeah, they're more in the society.
Percentage is more.
Percentage is
Quite a
more.
bit,
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, they want to feel, they want to, feel relevant, or they
Yes.
want to, get that exposure and all of that. I guess, isn't that something, again, I mean, from the same token, if I may say, that somebody from the same blood, from the same ancestry, Avijit, I mean, if I don't know about him, are you feeling offended from that? Because I don't know you? Because I'm just learning you today.
No.
You're not feeling offended, right?
Not at all.
So, this is what exactly I'm trying to say, is that with so much of talent, right? And I think, if I don't know you, it doesn't really matter. I guess what matters to you, someone like you, is that you'd like to continue the work that you're doing, whether it's music, whether it's playwright, writing books, and making those relevant, cartoon, and not to be known to the whole community or fraternity, but to be known to the community who actually admire the work that you're doing. I guess if you really somebody who wants to pursue the work that you do, or if you love the work that you do, I don't think you do care to be relevant or to take the attention or to be the center of attention in wherever you go,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I've always seen that even if I'm getting the front seat, which I do get now, either because I might have been a sponsor or I might become a sponsor, some way I'm evaluating to the community, But at the same token, at the same time, I go there, I have my head low. I'm so looking forward to the event that I'm attending, and finishing that event, coming out, not talking, not mingling, not possibly that way I'm a bit unsocial. I mean, people can say that, but I just feel like that whether I'll be able to connect to that person or not. But nowhere in my body language I'm trying to show that, look, I'm the chief guest. I'm possibly not between chief and chief. I'm just in between, and I want to stay relevant to be in between. What do you have to say? Is there something?
It's very hard to come across such people, believe me. The way they behave, and I observe this from a cynical viewpoint. I always have this cynical eye, and sometimes you ask yourself, why do you do that? What end of your life? What are you going to get by getting so much of prominence or pushing it? They don't get prominence; they push their way through, and I've seen it. And you sometimes wonder why they do it.
Yeah.
But it's a penchant for people, to be there and to be right in the middle. They have to be. So I find it very funny, to be honest with you. Extremely humorous. But there is an underlying message here that
It's very. I mean, this is the reason I'm still having this conversation. I think probably it's going a bit longer than we expected. But I think this is important. That the message that, I mean, if you ask me as an individual, that the way I see things, that I want my acts to act rather than me to act,
Sure.
and to be relevant, or it's just this is why I'm saying that if I'm attending an event of Avijit Sarkar, right, you might have invited me, I've attended, believe me, I'll go there, watch your event and come back. And I'm the most important part, that I've seen some other folks, they would like to actually meet you. But look, you might be busy because you are the organizer of the event. Yeah. You might be actually doing a lot of other things. And I've seen those people try to find out, hey, Avijit, how are you doing? Is that really, this is what we see. Is that really important? I was there, my presence. You invited me to to actually see the show.
Yes.
Right, that you're acting or performing, rather than me showing you that I have been there. Right?
Of course.
I guess there are people like that. They will be showing, I've been there and all of that, right?
Like already we are 1 hour crossed as per the thing. So, 2-3 things I want to ask, and one request is also there. That I'll come last. So one thing is that how you take this social media thing. Like it was when we grew up, we never had social media and all. How you feel that what is the social media?
Social media, I think it's become. It depends upon how you use social media.
Exactly.
If you are good and clever at using social media, then it's very, very extremely powerful, I think now. But you should know how to use it.
Exactly.
You should not use it like rubbish. So if your usage is relevant to society and to yourself, it's very, very powerful. Concerts nowadays, they sell through social media.
Exactly.
Not really through print media anymore.
No.
All that is gone.
Yeah.
So more exposure you have, and good exposure to a good set of people.
Like positive thing. Yeah. You have to use it
very
positive.
Powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah. Very powerful.
And
I mean, I'm not done. You have to understand that I'm a techie.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about social media is somewhat related to technology, right? So it's important to say a bit more about social media. So what Avijit does say, right, that if you can use social media in a right way, then it's really powerful, right? I guess, is that how we all take? No, right? I guess social media, the way, most of the people, again, if I go back to our community, it's a selfie. Like everyday's thing. They go and take a selfie and then put it up there and all of that. There's no problem in taking selfies. But at the same token, I just wanted to say that needs to be a bit relevant. So we are having this podcast now in our studio. If we take a selfie, 3 of us, and putting up that we just recorded a podcast with Avijit Sarkar, which is going to come back, it's stay more relevant because it's actually something that we have done.
Yeah.
Right? But we go to a party, birthday party, we go somewhere, especially, I guess, the age bracket that we all are in. I may not be in your age bracket, but I'm going towards that, but you are already, gone past that. I guess if the post is not that mature enough, you go and take a selfie of
you have to have a substance. Basically, you have to have a substance.
You take a selfie with the birthday boy and put it up. You as Avijit Sarkar and you as Basab Roy, or me as a White City, does it really, sound? I mean, I guess, but if you be in the picture taken up by the host and put it up, I guess that that's all right.
That's all right. I mean, this
I
is
guess that's all right. I guess
fine.
the way the social media.
At least some message we are giving, like
Yeah,
it's in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Avijit, before I let you go, what message you want to give
What do you
to?
mean you're letting him go?
Because Avijit is so much, I think we have to do another episode with Avijit.
No, we'll do that. I mean, look, he's our first guest, right? So we started with him. And then if we have season, we'll end with him as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's about, today's episode is more about learning a person lives in Sydney,
Yeah.
come from the same ancestry that we all belong, right? And so relevant, so brings so much of talents. He has so much of caliber, talents. Say everything that you want to.
Yeah.
But it's important that we probably did not know.
Yeah.
Right.
So we will do a part 1. This is a part 1 with Avijit Da.
Yeah.
And season for part 1 we'll do a part 2 because I have so many more questions to do. If I want to go do it today, it will not become a podcast. It will become like a soap opera or something like that. So so what message you want to give to people of Sydney, like
People of Sydney, in what aspect?
in as an aspect of like when you from the Avijit Sarkar point of view, like aspect of a first generation migrant, then you came here and do whatever thing.
But Basuda, can I tell you one thing? Don't make it political, right?
No, not political.
I mean,
message means not a political thing at all.
I mean, the reason I'm saying that what message you want to go, that's a statement that we generally ask the politicians that what message
No. Only
So,
message doesn't give by the politician. Message can be given by anyone.
Okay, let's keep it, sort of.
Message means like a wish, whatever. Like it can be anything. And the last question, I have not yet finished it yet.
Okay, you finished. Okay, so I would possibly like to hear that, that with so much of, talents that he carries, okay, I guess from that, aspect or standpoint, it could be like, if there's anything that he would like to say, like he already said about social media, it's so powerful, it's so relevant. If it can be kept as relevant, and it could be really powerful. So I guess with all the talents that you carry or shoulder, from that perspective, from emerging musician, or possibly, if somebody wants to play, right, I don't know if somebody will be able to do cartoon like that, because for that they need.
That's the inborn talent. That's the inborn talent, actually.
But yeah, I guess from your, the musical, gharana. I mean, from that standpoint, if there is anything that the message that you'd like to push it to, for the community or for our audience, right?
It's not only music, but anything.
Anything.
A generic thing that is that if you fame and success in any subject doesn't grow on trees, you can go there and pluck it out. So everything needs hard work.
Yeah.
So now, because I say this because there is a tendency nowadays to become a rock star in that's what people want to be.
In one day.
Yeah, they want very quickly. That too. So they learn music for 6 months and they think they know everything. Well, I've been working at it for 50 years. I still think that I don't know anything, to be honest with you.
That's you being humble.
No, it's the truth. We are, as I tell my students, we are just specks on the shores of creativity. So we are nothing, we are sand specks, really, if you look at the entire thing. So I would tell people that hard work is the most important thing. Whatever you want to do in your work, in creativity, in art, music, whatever you do, without hard work, you'll only reach a certain level. After that, you're going to stop. You can't go beyond that. Yeah. Some people think, I'm naturally gifted. Yes, which is great. But natural gift will only take you so far. Yeah. Beyond that, you need to educate yourself and work hard.
That's a very fantastic message.
Very important.
I guess the hard work is, there's no shortcuts. That's what I say.
No shortcuts at all.
Look, the first 2.5 years or 3 years, when I started my tech company, it was me, and I was like thin. I used to start at 6 o'clock, finish at 12 o'clock
Yeah, it's hard
in the
work.
morning.
Very hard work.
And then I was becoming thin and thin. My wife at some point said that, if you continue this way, I guess then you'll be vanished. So you need to start thinking about
Yeah, it is
hiring
hard.
some folks, people.
It's hard,
I guess this
very
is
hard.
very, very relevant
very
message.
Yeah,
Basab,
we can't let you go. एक गाना हो जाए थोड़ा.
I'll tell you
Few
what.
words.
Basab, I'll tell you. We are going to have a part 2 of this.
Yes.
I promise you, I'll get my harmonium
Oh, okay.
and I'll record songs.
Oh, that's
as we
great.
talk.
Oh,
I'll show you.
wow,
a few
that
things.
will be great.
Wow.
Or what
That
I
will-
want, or what I know, what I'm doing.
Okay.
That will be nice.
Oh, that will get.
I
That
promise
will
you.
be a
That's why I promise
bonus
you.
to the audience.
we can have this podcast possibly in another room where
Or we can go to Avijit Das place.
No, we can have it here.
No, we can have it here.
Yeah.
Okay, we can have
Yeah.
it.
I just need the harmonium and that's it.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
can tell you, I can show you a few things. And
Oh, that will be great. That
I
will
guess
be.
this is what I'm saying, that the person himself carries so much of talents, Bashabda.
And so
Right,
humble.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And at the same time, definitely the humble would be absolutely the right way to say, and it shows in all his cartoons. Right? The messages that he's trying to give to the community, if really people are getting that, it's definitely people should correct themselves and act in accordingly as per the cartoon. Okay. The interesting part is that I guess every single talent that he has can be, like, if you have any book launch that you are doing, or if you are running a show, you can definitely come and join us again and then talk
Yeah,
about
sure.
that, and we can have a podcast only based on that
Based
show
on
and
the
everything.
creative thing. Yeah.
Today's episode it's all about you, so we just want our audience to know who is Avijit Sarkar, and I think it's important with the caliber that he brings. It's so important, and as I said, the ancestry, it comes from somewhat we are really connected. And I'm myself, Okpa Bashabda already knows you, but I did not know you, but I'm feeling so much privileged that I know you now, and hopefully if we come across, I'll be able to figure it out. This is Avijit Da. Hopefully you can also figure it out, and that's when I want to see if I'm saying hi Avijit Da, how are you, and if you are extending your hand and saying that, hey Wahid, if you can't remember my name, that's where I'm gonna catch you and say that, come on, okay.
I have a long memory.
I guess I guess that's Bashabda. I mean, look, definitely a person at his caliber,
Need one more episode.
Yeah,
100%.
one more episode, and
There is no doubt
We will-
about
we will
it.
do something.
Yeah.
So, that was our first episode, and with Avijit Da, Avijit Sarkar, Wahid and Basab show, Voice of Bengal. Please let us know your feedback, because this was our first attempt. And thank you, Avijit Da. Thank you so
My
much
pleasure.
for coming to
I
our
need to
show.
thank both of you.
Thank you.
for
Thank
getting
you
me
very
here.
much.
Really.
I just
I'm
wanted
honored
to-
and privileged.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, did you enjoy?
Oh, I loved it.
You loved
I loved it because all the interviews I've done, it's nothing like that. It's very clinical, So there's a question and there's an answer. So I've done many, but talking like this is something so different. It's a conversation. It's not an interview. To be honest.
Yeah. So,
Which
It's
is
a
just
so it was a adda, which was
Yeah,
you
it was
said.
an adda. It was the original Bengali adda, which is good.
No, I
Very
mean,
nice.
we are really pleased, that
Thank
we could have you in the show, in our first very episode, and definitely, enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the coffee that I made,
perfect.
and enjoyed the adda. And I mean, look, stay in touch. I mean,
will.
I'm not gonna miss every single thing that you do moving forward. I'll definitely jump in and try to be in every single thing that you have to do. I guess So look, Bashabda was concluding the episode, but I just wanted to say that what a person Avijit Sarkar is, right? So I guess this is what we are trying to bring to the community. We just want to have a very informal conversation with the person who will be our guest, and bring some information that he probably Sydney or audience or nobody actually ever
come across.
I guess that's what is the essence of Voice of Bengals, and it's really important. He gave us a lot of messages. When somebody carries a lot of talents, hearing and getting messages from him, look, this is something we all need to adhere. It's not something that he's making it up or something. He shared his experience, and look, he has the experience and talents and everything to make such statement. So I guess the most important part, we need to work hard. I think there is no shortcuts. We have to work hard, and let's all jump into Avijit Das musical school. Look, he probably is producing a lot of vocals, which I don't have. I can't be a vocal, but I'm definitely going to go and see and anything that he has to deliver in Sydney. If it is happening in Sydney, I'm gonna definitely be going there. So I think that's all for today, and thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and stay well.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.